All right, today we're going to go into Missouri. We're going to take a deep dive in Missouri. We're going to start off with the population trends. Hey guys, I'm trying every which way to test every video. So this one is going to be in video instead of just the platform of putting the state outline on and talk in the background. So we're going to try this one out. As a reminder, you could head over to Strizzy Report for this state's report card. It'll be up there, plus more data. I always jam-pack all that information in text. And you can check that out at StrizzyReport.com. Quick thing, if you want to relocate, if you're trying to figure out which state is the best state for me, I'm working on a back-end product right now that's going to help you out. You put all your information in. What are you looking for? What's your lifestyle? Everything. Your income, are you a remote worker, retiree, all of it. And it's just going to pop out the best value, the best state for your needs. And so we're working on that right now. So StrizzyReport.com, though, you can go check this out. I'm writing some ebooks, getting everybody prepared for what's about to happen. Huge migration going on, right? People are getting smarter, and we want to help people move smarter. And that's just really the bottom line here. All right, let's continue on with Missouri. I don't know too much about Missouri just offhand, right? However, it is a state. Looks like it's coming in pretty good. However, we're going to run through those numbers. 6.2 million, 18th most populous state. We got 85K moving in. We got 91.5 moving out. Why they're moving out, we're going to find out. However, they're losing people year over year. They're losing about 10 grand a year. So top areas gaining residents, though, you got St. Charles County, you got Greene County, you got Boone County, Columbia is in that area. However, again, I wish I could add more to this. The only thing I know is that when I was driving in my cargo van business, right? I was driving from Maryland all the way to Montana at the time. Of course, you're going to take that route. You go through Missouri. I saw the arch. Took a video of the arch. That's what I remember. Okay. And also, once I was getting closer to the St. Louis area, and then actually in it, the driving got worse. So you let me know if they could drive in St. Louis, because no, they could. Like, I almost got into 2 immediate car accidents, just with the crazy driving right there, that pocket. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Top areas losing residents: the St. Louis, Jackson County, St. Louis County. They're losing residents. People are up out of there. Job market and economy. Unemployment rate right now is sitting at 3.5, 3.9. It's below the national average of that. Average salary needed is 58.5. Are people living with that? It's lower than the national average, but let's see. Let's find out what these industries are giving us in Missouri. It's healthcare and pharmaceuticals, agriculture and food processing, aerospace and defense, finance and insurance, and transportation and logistics. The major employers: Walmart coming in as a top employer, Washington University in St. Louis, Enterprise Holding, the car rental giant, and Anheuser-Busch. Anheuser-Busch is Budweiser, and that's also in Newark, New Jersey. So it's beer manufacturing. I believe their HQ, though, is in Jersey. So they got Anheuser-Busch here, and then Boeing for aerospace is also there. The recent economic news is that Kansas City is emerging as a major tech and startup hub. Check this out. I never knew this, okay? So I was driving from Montana, headed towards Kansas, because I couldn't get any loads, any freight in Montana, right? It's a dead state. They call it in that industry, in the trucking and logistic industry, they call it a dead zone. I was in the dead zone. So I said, man, I got to get to Kansas. They're telling me to go to Kansas. Okay, I'll go to Kansas. I never knew in my damn life, my high-ass age right now, okay, Kansas City is in Missouri. I'm thinking Kansas City is in Kansas. To me, I was just dumbfounded. I ended up talking to somebody from Kansas City, and she was like, are you dumb? I'm like, yeah, it must be, because I always thought Kansas City was in Kansas. But it separates, like right across the bridge, I guess, right? Right across the water. Missouri investing in $2.3 billion in infrastructure projects. Cities need to do that. States need to do that. If you invest in infrastructure, it creates jobs. In fact, after the 1929 crash, the depression, right, of the 1920s, 1930s, the only thing that brought, of course, war does. That's why you see if a country is in issues economically. A country is losing economically, GDP is lowering, all of that. What boosts the country up, according to the Fed in Jekyll Island, when they created the Fed, is a war. So you see a lot of wars. But really, what a country does to re-stimulate its economy, and you've seen this in 1930s Germany, okay, is they develop and they go hard on infrastructure. Because it creates jobs. It produces more. You get more jobs, privatization, innovation, things like that. So yes, if you invest 2.3 billion in infrastructure projects, you're on your way, including highways and public transportation. Maybe put $1 billion towards driving classes for your residents, okay? St. Louis has seen a rise in biotech and healthcare jobs thanks to the expansion of Cortex Innovation Community. Missouri's home, did you know? Missouri's home to the world's first successful parachute jump. No, I didn't. In 1911. Did you ever jump out of a plane? I got a friend that did. She says it was amazing, never went back. There's certain people that go, they do it one time, and they turn into jumpers forever, parachuters, okay? All right, so housing market and cost of living. This is important here, guys. The median home price is low. It's $250. It's well below the national average. So you're seeing some definitely cost saving there. But what really what tells that value, if that value is really true as a low median home prices, is going to be the property taxes. So we're going to dive into that. But being that low already, even if the property taxes are a little higher, you're still well below a lot of these states that I'm seeing out here. A lot of these states. Kansas City, $1,350 a month. That's a one bedroom. St. Louis, $1,200 a month, one bedroom. Springfield, you're coming in at $1,000 a month, one bedroom. That's below anywhere I've lived. Okay, Missouri. Real estate trends, home prices have increased by 5% year over year, driven by demand in suburban and rural areas, people moving away from the city. You're seeing that a lot now, where people are over it. They're trying to get back to that 1950s Levittown suburban life, okay? Hottest market, St. Charles, Lee Summit, and Springfield. And the slowest market, St. Louis. City neighborhoods are seeing slower appreciation. We're going to get to the crime, but I know you know that the crime is crazy in St. Louis. Did you know that the Missouri River is the longest river in North America? Did not know that? Thank you for that little tidbit. Did you know that? I didn't know that. All right, here's the best part, right? The meat of everything. State income tax. It's a range. Ranges from 1.5% to 4.95%. Property tax, okay, it's below the national average. This is the number that makes that $250K median home price more manageable. It's 0.98%. It's below the national average of 1.1. It's not the lowest. I've seen 0.5, but it's below the national average, so that's good. The sales tax is 4.225% statewide, but the local tax, god damn, this is where they get you. The local tax is up to 10% in some cities, baby. Damn. You're looking at 14.2%, depending on where you live. Tax, local tax, state tax. Plus on top of that, your income tax. Whoa, this is crazy. Gas prices, you're looking at an average of $3.30. That's about fair. And it's about average, and it's what I've seen when I've driven through their vehicle registration, $50 a year. If you got an EV, you're paying another $75 on top of that. Missouri has some of the lowest gas prices in the U.S. thanks to lower state taxes. What? No. Maryland right now has the fuel is $2.89, and sometimes you can go across the street, get it for $2.79. I mean, what are you talking about? Okay, let's talk about the entrepreneurship. Where the businesses go, people flow. People will follow. Where the businesses are, people ain't too far. Corporate tax rate, 4.0, one of the lowest in the U.S. I'll give them that. Business incentives, they do have some low-cost industrial land and grants for small businesses. Again, if you have an LLC, I personally wouldn't. You don't have to incorporate in the state you are in. There's really like 3, 4, 5 states that are pretty good with LLC, Delaware being one of the top ones, but there's one that's way better than Delaware. And I'm going to get to one of those type of videos soon. I got to finish these states. I got to finish them. All right, recent business news. Kansas City was ranked in the top 10 best cities for startups. I could see that. And it is in Missouri. It ain't in Kansas. All right. St. Louis biotech industry is booming, attracting top investors. So here's where we're gonna get rugged, rough and raw. We're gonna get rugged, rough and raw. The crime, okay? And this, if you can't take a handle on the crime, again, I lived in Memphis. We know how it goes, okay? Property crime, petty crime, your car broken into, windshield smash, they going in through the sunroof. We know it's expected. In fact, if you have a 2006 vehicle, you're still putting full coverage on the bad boy because you know how it is. All right, so the crime rates, violent crime rate, every 1,000 residents, 5.8 is gonna get smashed, okay? Violently. So let's call it 6. Out of every 1,000 residents, 6 of them. So 6 to 1,000. Property crime rate, this is where they're seeing it. It is 22.1 per 1,000 residents. It's above national average of 16.5. So the national average is, we say for every 1,000 residents, you have 16.5 for those residents. Their arm will get smashed. Property crime rate in St. Louis is higher. It's 22 people. Most dangerous cities, St. Louis, one of the highest violent crime rates in the U.S. It's almost like these states are in their own running, right? For, let's see if we could beat Memphis. Let's see if we could beat Baltimore. Let's see if we could beat New York. New York has been getting beat for a long time, so that's good. Even Baltimore has decreased, right? Memphis even decreased this past year, and year over year, they're looking like a decline in homicide and things like that. So St. Louis here takes the cake. Kansas City, certain areas have crime hotspots. Springfield, rising drug-related crime. So, safer cities coming in is Chesterfield, Lee Summit, and O'Fallon. If you're interested in that, best and worst places to live. If you heard the crime data, you're probably gonna figure that out. The best places is Kansas City. Right now, it's affordable. The growing job market, great barbecue. Some people are gonna take offense to that. Kansas City has great barbecue. Columbia, college town, vibrant culture, and good job opportunities. Then you got Chesterfield with safe, great schools, and suburban feel. Worst place to live, I think you already know it, St. Louis. And then Sikeston, limited job growth there, high poverty rate. So, you don't want to be where people aren't moving and activities grooving, right? All right, so is Missouri a good place to live? If you're in Missouri right now, tell me, what are you seeing? What's getting whispered? Are you thinking about leaving? If you're thinking about Missouri, why? What's drawing you there? So here's some of the pros. It's low cost of living and housing prices. So you're seeing that with the property taxes and the median home prices, it's very affordable. Strong job market in healthcare, logistics, and startups, especially in Kansas City. Kansas City's in Missouri. That startup on that scene. Affordable property taxes and business-friendly environment with that business corporate tax at 4%. So, good to start a business there. The cons, here we go. Higher than average crime. It's going to be a con. Okay. Then we got extreme weather. You got you getting a battle of it all. That Midwest breast, right? You got the tornadoes, you got the humid summers, you got the cold winters. You kind of got a mix of all the extremes. Okay, urban areas like St. Louis and Kansas City have aging infrastructure. So putting $2.5 billion to that, I think that's a good news for the city. Definitely infrastructure. Especially once people start moving in, and people start seeing that, damn, I could live here, I could grow here, I could start a business here. When things like that starts happening, you gotta work on the infrastructure, okay? These states gotta work on the infrastructure. So, guys, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. Also, subscribe, and I appreciate you guys watching. Again, all the data is on the website, StrizzyReport.com.